Hey friends, we are on a limited adventure and we are bringing you along. Have you ever driven near Devil's Tower and seen this line of teepees and wondered about them? Well, we stayed there and I'm going to tell you all about them. We appreciate learning about other cultures, and this experience was both fun and eye-opening. We would recommend the teepees at Devil's Tower to anyone who loves a little bit of adventure. There are 7 teepees here, so I'm just showing you a little bit of each one of those teepees. On the grounds, there's also a porta potty, so if you're wondering about that, near the top of the hill, there is a porta potty, along with the owner who stays in the schoolhouse. And of course, you have this beautiful view of Devil's Tower. Now let's go inside and I'll show you what it looks like. This is a traditional Sioux style teepee. This is the 14-foot. We chose the smaller one because it was just the two of us. It is nicely carpeted inside, and the owner has some stools in there, some tables. There are items to make coffee. There are some mugs and a pot and some water and some instant coffee in there. There was a very much appreciated camp stove that you could cook on right inside the teepee, and also some water. It was so windy outside. There would be no way that we could have a campfire to cook on, so it was very much appreciated that we had that camp stove. You can see here there is actually a lot of room inside. We were able to put in 2 twin-size air mattresses, our regular bag chairs, all of our luggage. It was absolutely fine. And this thing up here allows for rain to come down through the hole in the top of the teepee and out the side. So if it rained, you wouldn't get wet. It's really a very neat thing. And you could tell it was so windy outside. And when you came inside, it was so quiet. It was just such an interesting experience. And hanging there on the side were some solar lanterns. So you'll see in a minute the teepee lit up at night. This little flap covers the door. And this one is actually painted by the owner, and it's all little footprints of her grandchildren. Such an interesting story behind this teepee. She actually puts them up and down every year. We were the last ones to stay in the teepees for the year. We were there in late September, and she was just about to take them down. We were the only ones there the first night. Now, we did fly some kites because it was so windy, and then the sun started to come down. It was beautiful. And here it is all lit up at night. Isn't that just a remarkable picture? We're about to make dinner in the teepee. This camp stove, like I said, was just a lifesaver. It was so nice to be able to come in out of the wind and just cook our supper. This pot was here, so that was very handy to use. And I actually had made some bison stew at home. We really wanted to have some sort of a traditional meal in this teepee. So I read about some of the foods that they would make and eat in the teepee, and I thought this would be a fun one. So I made some bison stew, and I also made some homemade bread. I warmed up a few slices of the bread on the other side of the camp stove just because it was nice to have some nice warm bread on that cool evening. Now I'll add in a quick video of how I made that bison stew at home. I just used some bison from the local grocery store, some celery and some onions, and then I added some beef broth, carrots, and of course potatoes. I just let that simmer on the stove for about an hour till it was nice and rich and thick, and this is what we brought to the teepees. It was just such a great meal, and it was really chilly this week at the end of September. It got down to 45 degrees. So we were happy to have a nice warm stew before we went to bed. You ready for this long chilly night? Mm-hmm. Peek your head out and say hi. Even though it seemed like we were in the middle of nowhere, there was a cell tower very close to us, so we had internet the whole time, which was very nice. Now, the morning was breathtaking. I woke up, opened up the door flap, and the sun was just coming out just over the horizon right outside the door. It was such a beautiful sight. And because the owner had left us those coffee mugs, I did actually bring my own kind of coffee, but I was going to have a nice warm cup of coffee and watch that sunrise. So I brought these Folgers packets because I thought they'd be nice and easy, and they worked out perfectly. That nice, warm, steamy cup of coffee was the perfect addition to this beautiful sunrise. It was such a quiet, cozy moment, just me watching the sun come up. I will never forget that time. It was just so peaceful. And again, I can't tell you how much I loved having this camp stove right inside the teepee. For breakfast, I made some oatmeal. It was the perfect meal to have after spending that chilly night in the teepee. I woke William up and I poured him his own hot, steamy mug of coffee. And then we had this oatmeal with some maple syrup and some heavy cream. It was just the perfect addition. It was like that just yummy, stick to your ribs, perfect thing to have after being so chilly in the middle of the night. And another thing I didn't mention, while we were sleeping or trying to sleep, we could hear the coyotes yipping out in the field, and they were probably pretty far away, but I couldn't tell. It was interesting and a little bit unnerving, but it was definitely a fun experience. Now let's try this yummy breakfast. My nose is red because it's really, really cold still, but yummy maple oatmeal for breakfast inside the teepee. How is it, honey?
It's delicious. I think the best part of this whole experience for me is how much slower life feels. It's really slowed down. I enjoy it.
We hear a little bit of car noise from the road up front, but it is otherwise quiet and peaceful, and we have this whole place to ourselves. I'm loving it. Here's the view outside this morning. Now for the yummy oatmeal. Hey, babes. Hi. Hi, sweet girl. The owner has these two sweet dogs that stay around all day if she's there or not. And it really makes you feel quite better because, you know, we heard those coyotes the night before, and I also know that there are rattlesnakes in the area. So just having these sweet dogs made a world of difference to us. And here is the owner, Juliana. She did come down and talk to us a few times. She's a wonderful, wonderful lady. During the day, we went to Devil's Tower because, of course, if you're this close, of course, you have to visit. One thing to note, they have this new system in place where you have to stop at a stoplight and they only let so many people in at a time. Just something to note if you're going up there. Of course, the sky was blue and beautiful. This is a tricky trail. It's 1.3 miles, and William is legally blind. And you can see this is the only time I was not holding his hand. And did you see how he kind of slid to the side? I was so afraid during this trail walk that he would twist an ankle or crack a skull on one of these great big rocks. So I held his hand or held his arm the whole time. It was a fun walk. It is a little bit challenging, I will say though, because you're going up and then you're going down. There are some slippery spots. There are all these speed bumps, and that was tricky for him too. So I don't know if I would recommend the trail if you had limited mobility. It's something to work up to for sure. There are definitely places that you can sit. Just know there are some hills and there are some slippery spots if you're going to go. But it was fun. And of course, we saw this cute little critter on the trail, this little red squirrel. It was so sweet. But we definitely did have a lot of fun. Now, after Devil's Tower, we took about a 30-minute ride into Sundance, and we went to the Longhorn Saloon. I would 100% recommend this place. It was delicious. I had some shrimp and these steak bites, also known maybe as chislic, and some sweet potato fries. William had a steak sandwich and some breaded mushrooms. Everything was very delicious. Now let's get back out to those teepees because that's what we're here for. We found out from Juliana, the owner, that there was a trail that went all the way down to the canyon, and we didn't know it, but she also owns some of the property into the canyon. So in the evening, just as the sun was starting to make this wonderful glow on all of the grasses and the trees, we took this trail towards the canyon. We had no idea how beautiful it was going to be. I'm so glad that she told us about this. If I would have known, I would have walked this trail multiple times. Just look at the grasses. They were beautiful. And as we got closer and closer, you can see those are the tops of trees. This is a deep, deep canyon. Here was a picnic table. I would have loved to have a picnic on there, except this was our last evening and you can see the sun is starting to set, so we did not have much more time. But I'm so glad we got to go down by this canyon. These views were just breathtaking. You can see Devil's Tower in the background. The sun was starting to set. As we get closer and closer to the canyon, you'll see the tops of the trees. You'll see the red rocks. It was just so gorgeous. I cannot say enough about how gorgeous and wonderful this walk to the canyon was. This was definitely my favorite part of staying in these teepees. Now, as we keep walking down this trail, I'm going to give you a few more tips about camping at the teepees at Devil's Tower. Now, you're going to want to go to the website to find more about them, and then you email the owner, and she will email you back, and that's how you're going to set up your camping stay here. Remember, I did tell you there is a porta potty on site. There's actually two, so don't worry about that. But definitely bring your adventurous spirit. There was not a shower when we were here. There are no beds. It's not fancy. This is rustic style camping, but trust me, you're going to love every minute of it. If you love nature, you love beautiful views like these, you're going to absolutely love staying here. I 100% recommend this place. Now, I want to keep giving you these views, but I do want to close with something. This area was so beautiful, and staying in the teepee was such a fun experience for us. It was so unique, and we really took the opportunity to learn a little bit about the Lakota tribe in the area. We learned about their rich heritage, their vibrant culture, their talents, and their hopeful nature. It was an honor, it really truly was an honor to spend a few days living in one of their traditional style teepees. I would like to take a minute to talk about something serious. Through many factors, including historical injustice, generational trauma, limited resources, the Pine Ridge community currently has the highest poverty rate in the U.S., along with high rates of alcoholism, depression, drug abuse, diabetes, suicide, and lower life expectancy. It just wouldn't be right for me to make this video and spend this time in the teepees and show you all of this without shining a light on some of those issues that the Lakota are facing. There are various charities set up to offer help to them. And if you feel compelled to donate, I encourage you to look into these. Now, William and I decided when we started YouTube that half of the money we made would go to charity. And we've been saving up for the last few months knowing this trip was coming because we wanted to give a donation to the Lakota tribe. We've chosen to donate to the Lakota Friends Circle. But we couldn't do this without you. I want to thank you so much for watching our videos. Your comments, your likes, your views, they're all helping to make this world a better place. Thanks so much for coming along with us on this fun vacation to Devil's Tower to stay in the teepees at Devil's Tower. I highly recommend these to anyone who loves to go on adventures. We're in our 50s and we were able to stay in these teepees. We were able to use the porta potties. We were able to do all the things. It's okay. Even if you have limited mobility, William is legally blind and he was able to experience this, have a ton of fun, and really enjoy our time here. I completely recommend these. I think they were so much fun. I'm hoping that you're loving these views as we're going through the last few minutes of this video. If you like this kind of thing, unique adventures, limited mobility, even some of the cooking that we did during this video, we would love to have you subscribe. Join us in this little community. We love to go on adventures like this. We love to show you what we're having for dinner. I love to post recipes, and also we love to give to charity. So even though we went here and did this fun adventure, we're not going to leave without donating back in some way. You will find that in many, many of our videos. So if that is what you like and what you're all about, we would love to have you. Thanks for coming along with this limited adventure, and we really do hope to see you on the next one. Thanks so much for watching.